Hi, I'm Ian.
And I'm Jason.
And this is Ghosts and Bears, the only podcast where we bring you the actual ghost stories
With the actual history.
in the actual place. This week on Ghosts and Bears, we are off to Wallace, Idaho, where we are going to hear all about the crazy town of Wallace, the bad movies shot there, movie stars who are from there, and everything they were mining coming up on Ghosts and Bears. Welcome, Prince.
Yes, welcome.
We are happy to be back for another episode.
Hard to believe a month has passed.
I know. And this is one we just went to on our little summer vacation. If you are a patron, you have heard all about our summer wanderings because we basically recorded an episode of Ghost Stories We Have Heard in every town we were in.
Yes.
And this was one of them.
This time it's going to be Wallace, Idaho.
Yeah.
An amazing movie with Pierce Brosnan was shot.
It's a terrible movie.
It's such a good movie.
Dante's Peak.
Yeah, Dante's Peak. It
It
so
is terrible.
awesome.
It
awesome.
is terrible.
It is awesome.
Predictable, awful, every disaster movie cliche.
Well, you know, it's more fun.
Okay, well, it is.
There's a lot of explosions.
Well, it's funny, but I don't think it's supposed to be.
No, it's true.
We're going to talk about that, but also, I was just going to say we're going to talk about what's been going on this week. I finished Calgary's Most Haunted.
Yes, congratulations.
Oh,
the
my
book is
goodness.
actually at the publisher, so that's good.
So that's good. Look
Off it
for it
goes.
next October. Mm-hmm. We also had something else kind of fun and exciting happen.
Yes, a friend of mine in the MBA program was here in town visiting for work, and we went to dinner with him last night, so that was kind of cool.
It was cool, but then something happened to him, and we have to back it up a bit, or it's not going to make any sense. So, was it this week? One of our wonderful listeners sent us the preview.
Yeah, the APTN, so Aboriginal People's Television Network, released a teaser for the season 9 episode, and
Season 9.
Yeah, season 9.
Season 9 of the show The Other Side, which Jason and I filmed the episode last year.
Yeah, a year ago in Victoria.
And now it's just going to be coming out this October. If you want to see it, by the way, APTN has a watchable app called Lumi, Lumi.
Correct.
You just look up APTN Lumi, Lumi, and that's where we found it. It's also included in a lot of cable packages, at least up here in Canada. But I know if you want to watch it internationally, it might be a little tougher. But it is in like 10 different countries, so I don't know.
I have no idea.
Probably in the States.
Yes,
anyway,
who knows?
we had a big, long talk with him about that show, and Jason shared part of what happened, and he was getting a bit freaked out.
Hi, Carl. I know he listens to the show.
And then the poor guy, well, now you named him.
Yes, well, he's a friend of mine.
God.
How many people are named Carl? Tons of people. So.
Okay. So then Carl went back to his hotel room, and what happened?
Gosh. He sends me a picture and says, WTF. His television was on the other side as Jeff, who's the season host of The Other Side, was going into the basement. He said, it's exactly like you said. We goes into the dark basement, and we were conveying what happened to us a year ago.
Yeah.
But for his television to be on APTN's The Other Side and sending me a picture of it.
Come on.
How bizarre is that?
And it was turned on all by itself.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is so bizarre. He said it was on a different channel. I think it was sports or something.
Oh my gosh.
So,
that is
like
so
football
wild.
or something.
That is so wild.
Poor Carl didn't sleep well last night, apparently. I said, if it's my brother who is listening, he is a bit of a prankster. So say, sorry, David. Not funny. But
or kind of funny.
Yes, he's a prankster.
He's
so
a prankster.
Yeah, like I said, he when I was really sick in the 80s, he gave me HP sauce as chocolate milk.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I wasn't very happy. And to this day, I still have never had HP sauce.
Yeah, you're not missing much.
I'm not ever going to have it. Never will have it.
You're
but
fine.
That's going to probably be released in that episode of AP10's The Other Side because we had
This
a
month, I think.
brief discussion. Yes, I think we're later on in the series.
So there you go. So look for that. One other thing, I did have a chat with the publisher, and we're moving ahead with Canada's Most Haunted.
Yes,
So
that's pretty exciting.
going national, baby.
Yes.
And as a result of that, it's going to have sort of a few stories from each province or territory across Canada. And if you are listening,
Yes, please.
and you were in
feel
some province thinking, well, we have this famous, not too famous though, I want new stories. We have a famous place that's haunted around here. Give us an email. Send us our email.
Yeah,
and
we'll be happy to include it in the book.
oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. I would love that. So that's the real goal, is to bring some maybe not so common stories from each province pulled out, and let's see what we can do. So this is your first, notice. I need some stories. So that will be exciting. And I might be working on a little haunted house book too.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. So that'll be a good conversation to have. Yeah. Other than that, fall has found us. My mom is moving here next week,
That's right.
which is amazing.
She'll be here this weekend, technically, at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, she's moving into a retirement home up here.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything else to
Just my MBA. It's busy.
busy.
I did take a few days off. We
Good
got
plan.
front end loaded and slammed, so I needed to reset my brain. And
Yeah.
things there isn't too much going else on the fronts.
No. Now that the book is over, I can pay more attention to the Patreon, to the Redbubble store.
Yeah, all the merch that people need.
Well,
or
I heard
want,
from
maybe,
a friend today, Chris, who said, "Do you sell coffee mugs on the Redbubble store? Because I just broke mine."
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh no!" I said, "I'm sure we do. I mean, Redbubble has everything." And he got back to me later, and he's like, "No,
Oh my.
no coffee mugs." So I'm gonna go into Redbubble, see if I can fix that for him. Cause,
Yes.
yeah.
I don't know how to operate any of that.
I know you don't.
That's interesting.
But we don't have any merch. It all comes from Patreon or Redbubble. We don't actually have any
No.
stuff. So otherwise, Chris, I would send you one. So I'm sorry, but that's the way it is.
Not unless we 3D print stuff. But.
Oh my gosh, I don't even have time to feed us, let alone 3D print stuff. So we're going to talk about Wallace.
Yes, good old Wallace, Idaho.
Wallace, Idaho. Pretty
I love
wild.
it there. It's near Coeur d'Alene. So
Very near.
I love Coeur d'Alene.
There was one famous actress who came from there. Did you know that? Born in the Wallace Hospital. Do you know who it is?
No.
Old style, 50s, 1950s.
No.
Lana Turner.
Oh, wow.
Kind of a big deal.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know, Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, my God.
Dante's Peak.
Stop it. Just don't even mention that portion of a movie.
It's an amazing movie.
Oh,
it's
come on.
It's fun. It's exciting.
Oh, my God. What was exciting was that you and I watched that movie because you put it on, and I was like, what is this? And I kept saying to you, this is stupid. This is stupid. And then the cool part was, so you said, we're going to go somewhere. And it was like a couple days later. And we drove into town, and I'm like, oh my God, I know where I am. Because they really used the town. They didn't zhuzh it up a whole lot. It really is like that.
Yeah, it's cute. There's a lot of charm in that town.
Amazing. Amazing.
After this, I think I'll just go watch Dante's Peak.
I bet you will while I sit here and edit this.
It's going to be so fun. I will just reminisce about Wallace,
I'll be
Idaho.
editing and try to put it all together, and you'll be like, dum 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 dum.
Well, it's interesting. The town is Interstate 90 basically just drives over the town.
It is really weird that way.
It's I-90 is basically a bridge over the town.
I-90 kind of winds up through the Idaho Valley there, and for the most part, if you weren't at the correct grade, they were going over you, and that's exactly what they did. There's a massive bridge that literally cuts through the town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. Well, that's progress. That's moving people along at high speed.
Now, I have some history of Wallace. Do you have history of Wallace?
Oh, yes, I do.
Would you like to do the history?
Oh, I would love to.
Yay.
So I looked it up, and there's Native American background around the region of Wallace, Idaho.
And which band are there?
It's the Coeur d'Alene tribe.
Ooh.
So that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Coeur d'Alene actually means heart of an awl in French,
Right.
due to their actual shrewd trading skills, historically connected to the area. And there are a federally recognized tribe with a reservation located to the southwest of Wallace.
Nice.
Coeur d'Alene people have a rich cultural history and heritage, which includes their own language, which is Salish, traditional ceremonies, and a deep connection to the natural environment of the region.
Right.
Their traditional territory of the lands of the Coeur d'Alene tribe encompass a significant portion of what is now northern Idaho, including the area around Wallace. Their territory extended into parts of Washington and Montana as well. These lands were abundant in natural resources like fish, game, and plant life, which were vital to their traditional way of life. And it's interesting because if I remember right, we saw signs of like no game hunting or whatever.
Oh,
do you remember those? They're just kind of around. It's like, and I swear they're actually in Wallace.
I think you're right. Oh,
And
do you hear
Kellogg.
our dog?
Yes, he's annoying.
I'm
right
going to
now.
go murder our dog.
But Kellogg, I think, had those game hunting things.
Yeah, it was
around.
really different. It was a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, and you're just like, what? And these are on main streets.
Yeah.
So it's like, are these people just shooting animals in the street? I don't know.
And each other.
But I swear there were signs in Wallace as
Yeah.
well. Definitely, I'm sure Kellogg. But anyways,
Wallace still has that feel of
yes.
a mining town.
Yes, it does.
Like a pretty rough kind of edge of the civilization.
That's
town.
right.
It's pretty
And
cool.
with regard to the colonial contact, many indigenous peoples in North America, the Coeur d'Alene tribe experienced significant changes with the arrival of European colonists and fur trappers in the early 19th century. Trade networks were established, introducing new materials and technologies, but also diseases and conflicts that impacted their populations.
Isn't that always the way?
Yes.
That was pretty well generally the way that the settlers worked with the First Nations people. The First Nations people gave them furs, meat, shelter, wood, a fire to stay warm by, and the settlers gave them
Diseases
and addiction.
conflicts.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Great trade.
It's all, it is what it is, right? I can't go back and change that history.
No.
So some of the treaties and reservations, the Coeur d'Alene tribe signed some treaties with the U.S. government in the mid-19th century, leading to the establishment of the Coeur d'Alene Indian Reservation. This reservation continues to be a vital part of the tribe's identity and provides a place for cultural preservation and economic development.
That's awesome. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any history on Wallace? Or I have some. I have a little bit on like specific Wallace.
Well, in regard to Wallace itself, more just the ghost history. And actually, yes, I do have some history. It's in the Shoshone County in the northern part of the state, and the area has a rich history, including interactions with various indigenous peoples. And it has, I've got different eras, pre-European contact.
Oh, no. Don't worry about that stuff.
We don't need that.
Nah, I just got it about Wallace here when
the mining
Wallace
boom?
came along. Well, Wallace specifically, 1884 is when it became a town. Colonel William Ross Wallace, a local farmer who purchased 80 acres, and he built a small cabin on it. Little did he know. He soon played a key role in developing the mining in the entire region. He had mining interests in many places, including Idaho, California, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. The town, now you'll love this part because it ties in with the movie. The town survived many horrific fires and floods, devastating almost the entire town over and over again. But which seems to fit the whole Dante's Peak thing.
Yes.
But the townspeople were determined to continue to rebuild their town, and by 1887, the first school was opened, along with multiple saloons, apartments, and several shops. And what else? A few brothels,
Of course.
as you do.
Well, did you know that the Northwest Company and Hudson's Bay Company began to explore the area?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
They were
HBC was
everywhere.
down there.
HBC was like Walmart.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And it had valuable minerals, such as silver.
Lots of silver. In fact, that's what it was famous for.
Silver and gold. Silver and gold.
Okay, it's not Christmas
Probably
time
not
yet.
gold. But, well, gosh,
What was
it's
that?
almost.
Was that from Frosty? That was from that
wasn't
old
it?
Frosty TV show.
Wasn't that the one that's
Or Yukon Cornelius. And
no, I think it's from the one with the snowman singing that.
that's what I mean. Isn't that Frosty?
Wasn't that Fred Astaire?
Burl Ives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's hilarious.
But what is interesting is we talk about the land was actually ceded to the U.S. government.
Oh.
So they actually signed a treaty to cede it over.
And handed it over. And we did, our First
a lot
Nations
of
people
ours have not.
did not do that.
No, because we say unceded territory.
Unceded territory.
So, in other
Wow.
words, stolen lands here.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, but it seems like they had better maybe business acumen to throw that in there.
Well, we really enjoyed Wallace.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a cool town. The houses are amazing. The old buildings on Main Street, incredible, because they are literally the same buildings from 1887.
Yes.
The old brothels are still there, not in business. Well, as far as we know. But it was just a really, really, really cool place. And you definitely walk the streets, it's haunted.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
you
you
don't
can
go to
feel it.
Wallace and go, oh yeah, everything's normal here.
You can feel it.
You can absolutely feel it. It's almost like it's marinating in it. It's just soaking in it.
That's right.
It was very cool.
Yeah, it's got a rich history, and the culture there is beautiful. Like the town is easily walkable.
Yeah.
You can park and just walk anywhere. It's very, it's traditional. I would say it's Republican.
That's a really good way to put it.
It's
a very
Republican.
Traditional white people town.
Yeah, it's not. It's not modernized.
No.
I don't think
It's like a town square. And
Yes, I don't think of anything there that's modernized by
No.
any stretch of the imagination, except for the cars that, like us, who come through.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. No, it's
But
pretty cool.
Ian bought a beautiful book. I bought a good book too.
Yeah, the photography book.
Yeah, a photography book. It was just stunning.
That shop owner is deeply stoned.
Oh yeah, that probably goes without saying. But he was nice.
He was super nice. Yeah, so that's Wallace in terms of history, what's going on. The mining was the reason it was there, realistically. That's the whole reason it was there. But luckily for us, we were able to stumble across some ghost stories. And short of having someone to talk to us about it from there, we have a book written by a local that we're going to be talking about. And we're going to tell some ghost stories when we come back. So sit tight, and we'll be right back.
We'll be back.
So our first story is from the Jameson Hotel that's still in Wallace. It's called Maggie Still Waits, and it's from a book called Ghosts of Coeur d'Alene and the Silver Valley. This is a ghost story from Kira, a former employee of the Jameson Hotel in Wallace. I work as a housekeeper at the historic Jameson Saloon. I've had some outlandish things happen to me that can't truly be explained away. First, I would like to note I'm currently the only housekeeper, so no one goes upstairs besides me when I'm at work. One evening, I was giving a couple a tour of the facility, so we walked upstairs, and I noticed the basketball that I left out for the little boy spirit to play with was gone. Upon stepping around two corners, I saw the ball in the middle of the hallway in front of room 6. I know some people will say that the ball was rolled down the hallway, but that explanation doesn't make sense. For the ball to be in the location it was, it would have had to round two corners and in the dead middle of the hall, and wind up in the dead middle of the hall. I put the ball back and it has not been moved since. Also, the doorknob to the innkeeper's was removed, so I asked my boss if he'd taken it. He told me he didn't. Together, he and I searched the whole place, but we couldn't find it. It's still not been found. Wallace Junior Senior High School had their homecoming at the Jameson on the banquet floor, and a female student reported seeing a woman. The student was in the bathroom washing her hands when she looked up at the mirror and saw a woman standing behind her. She looked behind her and saw no one. Quickly, she dried her hands and left the bathroom, and she saw the woman again as she was walking up the stairs to return to the banquet. But the woman was heading up the stairs. The student didn't see the woman again for the rest of the evening. Through some research, she discovered the woman was Maggie, a spirit said to haunt the Jameson, waiting for her true love to come back to her and marry her like he promised so many years ago. What? An unfaithful minor? What?
That sounds a lot like 108 Mile House and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It does seem like a place that you do traverse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In addition to these stories, employees have been grabbed on the shoulder. They've had their hair pulled, heard footsteps above the restaurant and bar. The group that came out was called Northwestern Paranormal Group and the Spokane Ghost Crew. They had also a group of lawyers come in, and they stated they heard footsteps. They had knocking at their door, and no one was there when they opened it. Also, room 4's door was locked when the patrons returned, and their key was inside. They hadn't locked it. The lovely yet very haunted Theodore Jameson Steak and Billiards Hall was built in 1907 on 6th Street in Wallace.
Basically brand new.
Pretty much. Well, it replaced a wooden structure that had burned to the ground. Like many other buildings during the horrible fire.
Must have been when Dante's Peak burped.
Burped
burped in the past.
Yes, the movie, it's not a movie. It's actually a documentary on the Great Fire.
Just the mountain just burped and threw a few rocks, and there you go. Just burns them down.
I do remember standing in the center of Wallace with you and going, now where did they digitally insert Dante's Peak? And we just looked
behind
around.
the highway.
Yeah. We were looking around.
Yeah.
The first building burned in 1890. Jameson was born in Kentucky and moved to Missouri as a teenager. Jameson opened a saloon in Eagle City near Murray, Idaho, which Jason's going to be talking about at the end of this. He finally made his way to Wallace in 1889, where he built and opened the glorious and ornate Jameson Hotel that still exists today. The 1900 federal census lists him as a liquor merchant living at 270 High Street, and a few years later he was known to live at his hotel on 6th, which was recorded at a value of $18,280. Jameson was a member of the Wallace Lodge.
That's quite the princely sum.
Well, it would have been back in 1889. In the 1920s, the place was operated as a bar and restaurant with several hotel rooms for rent upstairs. At that time, a beautiful woman named Maggie, who was in her early 20s, would travel by train to Wallace from St. Louis, Missouri, where she waited for her lover to meet up with her so they could get married and start a life together. The legend goes she would spend weeks at the Jameson waiting for her boyfriend. Sometimes those weeks would turn to months. This desperate scenario went on for a number of years. Maggie was a friendly gal, eventually became known in town by the locals. Then one year, she left Wallace and never returned. Did she finally give up on her boyfriend's false promise? Maggie would spend hours looking out the window, and she always took a room overlooking the city sidewalks, possibly daydreaming of her future plans. Maggie supposedly died during one of the train trips, but her spirit returned to the one place she always felt at home, the Jameson. In 1979, the hotel's saloon, dining room, and 6 guest rooms were renovated. Oh, so modern.
Yeah.
Renovations are popularly known to stir up spiritual encounters, and to this day, the spirit of Maggie is said to haunt the Jameson and sometimes her sister building, the Suites. This is a story from Schaefer, former manager of the Jameson in the early 90s. One night, around 2 a.m., Schaefer said he was sleeping alone in the dark, quiet hotel.
Naturally. When
his dog suddenly and uncharacteristically started barking and growling. Schaefer had been waiting for some late arriving guests to appear.
He had an unusual dog. I think dogs usually bark at things.
Well, they know. Well, disturb. No, yeah. Though they never. He was waiting for some late night guests to appear, though they never did. The dog was going crazy, he said. A fan had been turned on in his suite, and the door, which he had closed, had been opened. Awakened by the dog's terror, he soon heard light footsteps just outside his room. There's somebody in the hallway. He grabbed a robe and dashed downstairs to check the front door. No one was there. The place was still locked and empty. Another time when the hotel was temporarily closed during an off-season, Schaefer had been in there alone checking the inventory in the cramped basement. And it sounded like a party going on all of a sudden upstairs. Toilets are flushing, people are walking around, there's noise going on. Alarmed, Schaefer rushed upstairs to investigate. Totally locked up. Nobody's there. He said, recalling what he found back in the late 1970s or early 80s, some paranormal investigators came from England to do an investigation at the hotel. They quickly concluded there was a second ghost too, a man named Ollie. He was kind of putting the moves on Maggie, said Schaefer.
That's interesting.
Dating ghosts. I love it. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in this hotel. And it's a beautiful building. It's the one with the big turret on the corner.
Yes.
Do you remember? Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. I took photos of that.
Yeah, it's just a really, really nice building. There was one more ghost story about the Jameson. When we were downstairs, we got many words on his spirit box. Okay, so a spirit box, do you want to talk about what that is?
Yeah. That's the one that converts them into words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it that one, or is the spirit box the one that does the radio frequencies?
I'm not
I think
sure.
it's
Oh,
the
it
one
might be
that
the, yeah. Yes, I think that's the spirit box.
Yeah.
And then it picks up on the words
Somehow.
and translates them into English. And like we experienced that on AP7, and Ian was carrying it. And that's the one that I don't know if they'll show it because, I mean, they're crunching it into a 22-minute episode unless they do part 1 and 2, which would be 44 minutes. But we're talking 30 hours of recording, roughly, off and on. But yeah, it's hard to say until stay tuned. But yes, that box that Ian was recording started suddenly saying words like judgment and
Hell.
gates. Yes.
Yeah.
And when it started saying things like that, I'm like, oh, geez, like,
We're out.
what have we done here? But yeah, Jeff reacted quite strongly because he knew that presence, the third one. I won't release too much more about it because it's very exciting to watch. And right now we're talking about Wallace.
We
Idaho,
are.
and
Here's one more story for you. When we were downstairs, we got many words on his voice box. When we moved to the next floor, Mark and I sat down in Maggie's room. No words at all came through. After a bit, we gathered our things to move to another area of the hotel. As I got up, I felt as if someone had wrapped their arms around me from behind, like a bear hug. The hairs on my arms were all standing up where I felt hands on me. Mark said, "What's happening?" So I told him. He said that another presence, a male entity named Ollie, was known to touch women. I quickly left the room, asking Ollie to please not touch me. And
that's fair.
that's true. Sometimes you won't get the proof, quote unquote, you want by using the equipment. Sometimes you'll just feel them touching you, or whatever. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yes. Usually if you feel it, it's cold. You'll feel a profound cold.
And cobwebby.
Yes, cobwebby. That's another way of knowing that they're touching you. It has a cobweb feel, but it's quite cold.
Yeah. No, not cool. There's another building, the beautiful Ryan Hotel on Cedar Street in Wallace, and it's haunted by a lot of ghosts. All are friendly and happy to still reside there. Mediums who visited the Ryan tell the owners that the entities choose to be there because they love it so much. Some spirits are there all the time, such as Miss Montgomery, and others tend to come and go. Frank Ryan ran the beautiful Ryan Hotel in Wallace. He was born in New York to Irish parents. Not much is known about him, but the 1900 census has him working at a hotel at age 40 and living at 264 6th Street in Wallace. In 1910, he was working as a lead miner, and in 1920, he was living on High Street in town and working as a hotel clerk. Built in 1903, the Ryan Hotel has seen many changes in the little town of Wallace. It served as a residential hotel to local miners, and some of the rooms were occupied by long-term tenants. It's one of the few buildings that survived the horrendous fire in 1910. that destroyed most of the town.
Yeah, we actually went through 2 renovations. The first one was in 33 after a fire next door, and then in 2013.
Oh, and that's the Ryan?
Yes.
Nice. The Ryan still stands the test of time. Inside, the historic details remain intact, and the beautiful lobby desk at the top of the stairs transports guests back in time. The original residential mail slots are still used as registration card holders, and the room hosts many original features and antique furniture. There was an extensive renovation, as Jason said, in about 1933, and the hotel currently reflects that time period. Always meticulously clean and tidy, it's no wonder the ghosts don't want to leave. Room 11 was occupied by Miss Dorothy Montgomery.
Yeah, she was brutal. She was a school teacher at the Wallace Elementary School. She loved teaching her children, especially the younger ones. She was no nonsense and not afraid to stand up for what she believed in. She was stern, and at one point, she flunked the whole class one year. Isn't that brutal?
That is brutal. She lived in the hotel in room 11 for
that's right.
43 years.
Actually, the Ryan Hotel didn't have a TV, so she went out and bought one.
I love it.
That's hilarious.
She died in 1998 and loved her room so much that she continues to be an active and consistent presence at the hotel.
She likes watching TV in the entryway, I think, in
That's
the
awesome.
lobby.
I love that. Her space is lovingly decorated with vintage school charm that surely makes her spirit feel right at home, or makes her feel like she's trapped at work. Dorothy is a stern, protective, and helpful presence at the Ryan. She reportedly often nudges for the owner, Donna, and other team members to assist in the everyday operations of the hotel. I love that.
There are actually other spirits in the Ryan Hotel as well.
Tell us about some.
So apparently there's a female spirit that's in the laundry room and a male spirit in another area of the basement. And there's also a male spirit upstairs in room 4 by the window who prefers to talking to men only. And apparently, well, I wouldn't say that, but who knows? Maybe he was flunked by Mrs. What's her name?
Miss Montgomery, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, there's a few in there. But generally, the spirits in the Ryan Hotel are friendly. And it's a place that they actually feel like they're home. And apparently, it is a charming place. All of, I believe it's 13 rooms are tastefully done. Is it 13? I know I made it in my notes, but who knows? If it's 13, it sounds more interesting. But yada, yada, yada. I'll get back to you on that after, because I was skipping ahead. You had me skipping ahead when you talked about her. Yes, 13.
There you go.
Yeah, lucky number 13. Large, clean, comfortable rooms. But actually, the picture of it, I believe you actually bought the book
From
up
that
the
store.
street from it. Yeah.
That's really cool.
In the same thing. But again, another would-be building that almost burnt to the ground, and weirdly 33.
Well, there's another side to Wallace, the Bordello side.
Yes.
There's a Bordello museum there.
That's right. That one's haunted.
Yeah, that's haunted.
It actually was an operational brothel during the town's mining boom era.
Makes sense.
Isn't that interesting?
Well,
it always makes money.
Well, I was going to say, you got miners.
Sure,
they
the
want
wealth.
food, drinks, and
Probably
sex.
some women.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Company. Ladies of the evening.
Company. They wanted to dance.
Yes. Or a massage, because mining's probably very hard work.
There you go. They were just going in for a little massage.
Yes.
Yes.
It has a lot of reported paranormal activity and ghostly encounters, and people describe hearing many unexplained voices, footsteps, and witnessing objects moving on their own. Now that's interesting because it takes a lot of effort for ghosts to move objects. So it takes a huge amount of energy.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. That's why some people, when they go ghost hunting, find themselves getting drained.
Yes.
And getting tapped. And that's why a lot of times your equipment, you can put brand new batteries in your equipment, and all of a sudden
that's right.
the batteries are dead.
Die.
And it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's because they're drawing the energy trying to communicate.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty wild.
Fascinating.
Wallace also had a really cool train station, which I believe is also haunted, and it is a museum. And it's just this kind of crazy cool town. And the heartbreaking thing is, because the highway goes literally over top of it, like we said, you're never going to know it's there.
No.
You would literally drive over it and never know it's there.
Yeah, you're right. If you don't look for it, you'll drive it over it at interstate speeds, which is quite quick.
Oh yeah, you're never going to know. Mm-hmm. So if you're driving down through, Idaho, Washington, that kind of area, make a stop in Wallace, because there's quite a few. I would say there's ghost stories about every hotel there. Every hotel.
And that makes sense, because a lot of miners were murdered in these towns.
Or died in the mines.
Or disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Actually, what you were talking about with the train depot was called the Northern Pacific Depot. So it was a crucial transportation hub during the mining boom days. And there apparently are ghostly apparitions of passengers and figures moving throughout that station. So it has an air of nostalgia and mystery typical of historic train stations.
That makes sense to me.
And it's part of local folklore and urban legends with stories of paranormal activity throughout that place. And visitors can explore the depot's history and architecture while hearing about all its alleged hauntings on guided tours.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
That's one of the things
we
I picked up on.
just didn't have very much time there. We had about an hour.
Because we were heading to Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah. Are there any other notable kind of places in Wallace? I mean, it seems like, literally, I'm not kidding you, it seemed like every building down the center of Wallace was haunted. But is there anywhere else down there?
There's plenty more, but I want to talk about, there's another ghost town just up the road from them. I believe it's called Burke Ghost Town.
Oh, and it is a ghost town.
And it was a mining town that's now abandoned. It was built in a canyon so narrow that the railroad ran right through the hotel lobby.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That is crazy.
So it's a run-of-the-mill ghost town. Its story starts out as a familiar. It rose up after rich deposits of silver and lead were discovered in 1984. And it's in a very narrow canyon. So at its narrowest point, it's only 300 feet wide, but they still stuck the town in there, which is pretty surprising. It's about 7 miles away from Wallace. So I believe you turn left to go into Wallace, and I think you turn right off the interstate and you go up the hill to Burke Canyon.
Nice.
So there's the Tiger Hotel there. It was built in 1896, and it straddles the main street and the creek that runs through the canyon. And the railroad expanded there in 1906, and a lack of space forced it to run through the hotel.
I love that.
That's a very unique
I'm
thing.
surprised.
Can you imagine?
That building is still there.
That would be so noisy and shaking.
You didn't care. You're a miner.
No, true. I guess you just slept. But apparently that hotel is very, very haunted.
That would be cool. And it's old. Like most of the buildings from America and Canada that were that age burnt to the ground.
Yeah, the last of the mines there closed in 91. And
wow, only 91.
Within a few years, no one was left. But by 1990, there were only reportedly about 15 residents left in Burke, Idaho, which is really sad. I'm surprised we didn't actually go there, but I think, yes, like you said, we ended up spending more time in Wallace than I wanted to head up that road.
Well, the problem was we had 6 days to go from Prince George down through Montana, Idaho, Washington,
and come back.
And then back up home. So we didn't have a lot of time.
No, we didn't have tons of time.
No.
But yeah, that's fine. There's a lot of rich history down there.
That whole valley,
beautiful.
they talk about the ghosts of the Silver Valley.
I think it's stunning.
It's not just Wallace. The whole valley has a weird feel to it.
It has a traditional feel.
You know what it reminded me of? Three Valley Gap.
Yes.
That weird hotel in the valley.
Yes.
It kind of had that same kind of energy, that same kind of vibe.
Correct.
Yeah. Wow, cool. Well, thanks for coming with us to Wallace.
Yes, thank you.
Do look up your own stories as well, because we didn't even scratch the surface. There's just so much going on there. But it's a very, very cool town, and I love being there. And I would honestly, I would go back there and stay overnight.
Yes,
I would. I would try for a non-haunted hotel, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't believe there's any non-haunted hotels. I'd probably stay at the Ryan and probably number 11.
Oh God, No,
I'd
thank
ask
you.
her to teach me about my MBA.
No. Yeah.
See,
She'd call you a foolish little whippersnapper. And
perhaps, I don't know. Whether she'll just go to watching her TV.
probably. She's like, I'm retired.
Yes, isn't that interesting?
All right. We're going to come back after this and talk a little bit more about what's going on. And we will be right back after this brief musical interlude. All right, and we're back.
Welcome back.
We would like to make a point of saying thank you to our lovely, lovely patrons.
Yes, we're very grateful.
We are
Thank you so
super
much.
grateful. You guys have stuck with us through the ups and the downs. We just want to say thank you for that. And also, we are also going to talk about our Redbubble store because we never talk about it anymore.
Yes, Redbubble.
So we'll talk about
you
that.
need all your merch.
So you
Get
can
your
get
Ghosts and
merch
Bears
from
merch.
You can get merch from Patreon.
Yes, or straight up from Redbubble.
We do shirts, mugs, and stickers on Patreon, and you get those just automatically. Just sign up and become a member, and they flow to you like gifts from the universe.
Yeah, it's magic. It's like from a ghost.
Also, by signing up with Patreon, you're going to also get our ghost stories we have heard every week.
Yes, those are fun episodes. Usually we're on little teeny road trips as we
We go on road
go
trips.
about and figure out what's next and where's next.
Yeah, and we tell some ghost stories and talk about those. So do check that out once you get your patronage all signed up. And you can get there by just going to patreon.com/ghosts and bears. That's ghosts, the letter N, and bears, ghosts and bears. And come and join us in the Patreon inner circle of cool people.
Yes.
And thank you to all those who
Thank
are
you very much.
already. And those include our friend Robin,
Amos,
Maria,
Gina,
Dawn,
Adam,
Bryce,
Sherry,
Marion,
Kathleen,
Alexa,
Ruth,
Mary Frances,
Gina and Victoria,
Christopher,
David,
Ashley,
Jeremiah,
Elizabeth,
BB Nix,
Melinda,
Jordan,
Tammy,
Taya,
Evan,
Arwen,
Steve,
Kyle and Charlotte,
Catherine.
and Myri.
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
very, very much.
You're amazing.
Your contributions help us get around and get these stories going and help pay for our studio equipment.
They do.
I
They
think
do.
it's all up and running finally. I think our last drives just arrived literally today.
Oh, did it finally come?
Yeah, they're
Thank
all
God.
here so we can actually get the stuff set up right.
Good, good.
We're still kind of this weird limbo thing.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to be a lot more active on our socials and stuff because it's just been crazy.
Yes, well,
But now that my job's up and running and
yeah, it's
things are
going pretty good.
going
finally.
good, and now we're ready to be able to do a little more with this. So I'm excited. We're also getting a lot of great ideas for episodes by watching The Other Side.
Yes, there's some really juicy stories from across this nation.
Amazing stories. So,
It's really cool.
yeah.
I
We'll
can't
jump
wait
into those.
to see it. Actually, I wanted to talk briefly about Maggie, which is Wallace's most famous ghost.
Oh, why not? Why
She's
not?
interesting.
We've got time.
Yes. So apparently, she's the one that you were talking about that was in the Jameson, right?
Right. Broken heart.
Yeah. Apparently, she actually died of that broken heart.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was sad. She was waiting for her loved one to come, and he was killed. And I can't remember, but I
okay.
think it was in a train crash.
She died in a train crash.
No, he was killed in a train accident.
Oh my gosh.
And she remained in the room waiting for him until she eventually died of a broken heart, which is
Yikes.
sad. But she's in the Jameson as well. So apparently she's pretty famous and she's around and about.
Well, she's the one who showed up in the story we talked to you about in the bathroom, and then she was going up the stairs to the party.
Yeah.
That was Maggie. So Maggie's one of the most famous ones.
She actually was a transient who traveled the railways between Wallace and St. Louis.
There you go.
So making both cities her home for a couple weeks at a time.
Oh, I want to do that.
Back and forth, back and forth. It's interesting.
I want to do that.
But, what a cool place to be. And yeah, she tragically died, but her spirit was left at the place where she felt safest and happiest.
That makes
the most
sense.
welcome, which was the Jameson.
In Wallace.
It seems to be a relatively warm and welcoming town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time
I
I've
would agree
been
with
there, which is quite a few times, the spirit is pleasant.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's got a really good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a guy who sold you a book who was totally stoned.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Super nice guy.
Just chill.
Super chill.
It's a chill town.
Very chill. Very chill.
But like I said, you can get out and walk around and see all the beautiful buildings. And
you will feel the ghosts.
Yes.
I guarantee
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Can't
It
not.
is pretty lively.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
In that way.
It is spirited, shall we say.
Ah, you're funny.
Yes.
I went on the Redbubble store, and Chris, who complained to me that we do not have coffee mugs on here. Well, Chris, I just found the coffee mugs on Redbubble.
Yeah.
So
they're there.
if you,
It's called the logo. Ghosts and Bears podcast logo coffee mug.
So if you go into the Ghosts and Bears shop and you'll see all the things, and it just looks like all they have is t-shirts, look for the other stuff. It says clothing, stickers, phone cases, wall art, home and living,
Wow.
kids and babies, pets, accessories, stationery, office gifts. Go into home and living, and there you shall find indeed
Mugs.
Mugs.
There it is.
And you can get the Ghosts and Bears logo on one of those mugs. So definitely check that out.
Wherever it happens to be now.
So yeah,
Apparently there's
a lot of good stuff.
109,000 results.
There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Just Google Ghosts and Bears podcast logo coffee mug.
Well, I'd go to Redbubble and do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Redbubble.
There's a
and
big
then their
search
search
bar.
box. Just do Ghosts and Bears mug. You'll get it.
It is Canadian 1878. I don't know why they do that. Oh, that's the tall mug, but you have the classic mug too. That might be less expensive. I have no idea. We don't actually price these things.
And we don't actually see these things.
And we have a 4.68 rating.
Yeah, out of 5. Because we're amazing.
People like our merch. Anyways, go get your fill of our merch. It's fascinating. I don't know what we get.
We
if
wear
anything.
it a lot. We
Yes.
wear it an embarrassing amount. We also, Jason and I will get dressed, like have showers, get dressed completely separately, get in the car, and then look at each other and go, oh, crap.
It's odd.
Because we're wearing the same shirt. Either one of my book covers or a Ghosts and Bears logo.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's all available on Redbubble. So if you want to dress like 2 middle-aged losers, you can do that as well.
Just so you know, it's dishwasher safe.
This is,
You can have a sparkling, clean
that
Ghosts and
mug
Bears mug.
is definitely dishwasher. Thanks.
How
You're
much
really
is
selling it.
How much is the classic mug?
Oh, I don't know. You want me to click on it and find out?
Well, go ahead and click
Classic
on it.
mug is
It's exactly the same price.
exactly the same price. But
But it's the big cylinder one as
ooh, it
opposed
looks-
to the V-shaped.
Ooh, I kind of like it. I may buy it. I'm just saying.
No, we don't need it.
Well, that's true. The last thing we need is another coffee mug. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Ian's addiction is coffee mugs.
It's
I pretty
not
much
an
use
addiction.
I
It's
pretty
a
much use
hobby.
3 coffee mugs and that's it.
Well, you use whatever coffee mug.
And thank you, Kelly,
give you.
because I use your green one all the time.
That's
pretty much
true.
daily.
Yeah, Kelly's green pottery mug with the trees on it. It's so great because it holds 2 coffee pods.
Yeah, and it's like a bolocino. It's my favorite, but honestly, it's like the only one I really ever use.
Yeah.
The rest of them I can throw out.
Whoa, easy, Tiger.
Yeah, there we go. And there it is. They're all his mugs.
So we just want to thank everybody for this. Like I said, just finished the book 3 days ago.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
And so now I'm starting to feel like my energy is coming back. So that's
Yeah,
really
well,
good.
you had to put the pedal to the metal for like 3 weeks.
And it was my own fault.
Well,
I mean,
It's
I wasn't
kinda like one of
expecting
those
to
things.
move. But I wasn't expecting us to move and go through all this stuff we went through. So I just didn't have the creative energy to write. But once I got that kick in the pants I needed from our good friend Tori, I was like, okay.
Yeah, and now it's into the
And now it's
publisher.
done.
It's out of our hands. It's
Yep.
into the electronic universe that would be.
Well, what will happen now
The
is they'll
same
send
universe
it back to
that
me.
will magically make a red bubble mug appear.
What they'll do is they'll send it back to me and be like, okay, so this doesn't make sense. And what are you talking about here? And what does this mean? And make this better. They're
And then
actually
you can
very
just say,
kind,
"Oh, it's
but
just ghosts."
it's just, yeah, that's what we say.
It's
about
all
everything around
ghosts.
here.
It's all
Yeah.
fascinating.
Have you seen my wallet?
I don't know. Ghosts.
Yeah. Where's my glasses?
Mm.
Ghosts.
Interesting. No, I've been feeling some presences around the house again. So
Jason, you have not.
I have.
You
in fact.
have not.
Yeah, it's the same.
Then why
presence.
is it you only feel the presences when we watch The Other Side and you get all freaked out? And
Honestly, it's because of the fact that I'm wondering if we're watching it and they talk about speaking to the presence, that the presence is actually thinking that it's someone speaking to them as opposed to, because it's all very real time.
That sounds very meta. Like if a dog hears a doorbell on the TV, it starts barking because it thinks someone's at
and
the
it
door.
happens.
Oh, Jason. We're
It
not
happens.
attracting ghosts by watching a ghost show.
No, but you did have that issue 2 episodes ago where this thing just wiped it out and we had to do like 10 or 15 recordings.
Yes, that was weird. That was frustrating. And that was the 108 Mile House.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't, if you said to me she followed us home and effed everything up, I wouldn't be that surprised. But do I think she's
felt
hanging around
like
now?
I
do
hope not. I hope not.
she's
No, but I
No way.
think she was there when you went upstairs and the store was open and I was researching
I think she,
because I
really
felt
did
her
everything.
across the way.
It wouldn't surprise me. She wasn't really someone who would have taken kindly to
Oh, she did
people
not
talking
like me.
smack about her.
She did not like
No,
me.
she
That's
did
for
not like you.
certain.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything in this house. I don't feel. Okay,
Let's
to
just take out the
quantify,
EM
there's nothing,
meters.
There's nothing living in this house with us. Have things come and gone? Yeah, but they always have in my life.
Well, it's like Weldon's house across the street. There's lots of activity there.
Lots of ghosts.
He's literally right across the street.
His
That's it.
daughter talks to them now in the basement and tells them to leave her alone and
No.
stuff.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And RG too. RG was so fun. She was like, "Yep, I don't even think about it.
She's
I
the
just
other daughter. She just
Yeah,
yells at them.
Yeah, she goes downstairs is like,
Knock
"Don't
it off.
bug me."
Yeah, don't bug
Go
me.
away.
Go away. And it works.
It's so funny.
So there it is, my friends. Thank you for being with us for yet another fun-filled episode of Ghosts and Bears.
Yes.
And next month, we're going to pick another place that we went to on our travels. And
I'm wondering
we
if
hope
it's
you will enjoy that.
Republic.
You think it'll be a Republic?
I don't know. Republic,
I
Washington.
don't know. I didn't have a lot on Republic.
I will research it because I definitely felt stuff in Republic.
Oh no, I felt stuff. It was almost the edge of the world kind of old Western town, but it wasn't trying to be. It wasn't hokey. It was just the way it was.
Yeah.
So I think there's got to be some reasons why
has
it's stuck
to
in
be
time
history,
like that.
yes.
Yeah, I agree with you, 100%.
And more so the valley that we drove on either side of
Yes,
it.
yes,
Whatever was in that valley was nasty.
yeah. It was powerful.
Where I had to stop and use the loo.
Yeah,
Remember? I felt very uncomfortable being in that valley.
well, that's because you were peeing outside.
Oh, for goodness sakes. No, but you know what I mean.
I do.
It didn't feel, it was a beautiful sunny day, but it didn't feel
No,
like
no,
it didn't
was
feel
weird.
like a nice
It felt
sunny
weird.
day.
It definitely felt weird.
It felt, it's like if I have a bad day in autism land, I say I'm having a dissonance day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt when I was driving through that valley.
I get that. Yeah,
And that weird town we stumbled upon at the end of it. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, wasn't that Republic?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was before
Yeah.
Republic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We
you're
ended
right.
up in Republic,
Yes,
and then when we
yes,
got to
yes,
Republic,
yes.
after Republic, things got better.
Yes, post Republic,
Yeah.
it was better.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, you're right, because we turned the corner,
yeah.
and there was Republic, and
Yeah.
it's because we took a different way this
And then
time.
we stopped and had lunch there, which
yes.
was a very interesting lunch, but we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, that was interesting.
All right, friends,
All right,
thank you
people.
so much for being with us, and
Thanks.
have a very happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Because we
it's
do
our
ours,
thanks.
we do ours early.
That's right.
or-
And we're doing,
Or we do ours at the right time, I guess.
and we have our reconciliation.
Truth and Reconciliation
Yes.
Day, which is a national holiday in Canada.
Correct.
Where we basically stop and remember and recall and honor all the children who were lost
Yes.
in the residential school programs that ran across this country for
So
over 100 years.
Let us not forget that. My mom was actually in that system.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
not
which
good.
is not cool.
No.
But it influenced generations.
It did. It
So
did. Yeah.
hopefully everyone has a decent reconciliation day.
And if you're not in Canada and you want to do that, please Google it, learn about it. Orange Shirt Day. It's a thing here, and it's very much worth knowing about.
Yes.
So, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
We love you guys, and
Have a wonderful day
Keep
or
it
evening.
spooky, and we will see you soon in about a month.
All right.
Love you guys. Don't forget
Bye.
Patreon. Bye.
Yes. Bye.